Hi everyone. New video this month. Yay. This is going to be an interesting one because today's video is actually going to cover two films that I saw in theaters, and this wasn't a double bill screening. This was actually a screening that was a couple of weeks apart. The first one was of a film that I've seen many times before, and the second one was actually of a film I've never seen before. So, I suppose to kind of go in order. Well, actually, instead of doing that, of the films that I had seen, I'm actually going to talk about the first movie that I hadn't seen, save the one that I've seen plenty of times before. Also, before I begin, yes, I'm not wearing my little shirt. Instead, I'm wearing this. This was one of the shirts I got for Christmas. I'm sure if anyone saw this. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to mix it up. Some videos, I'm going to wear this. Some days, I'm going to wear the Critical Color shirt. You know, it's a fun little mixing it up. But the two movies that I saw recently in theaters were the original 1979 Alien and The Emperor's New Groove. There's the theater that we go to down here has been holding revival screenings of old films, and you know, lots of theaters have been doing that lately. And I've kind of missed my opportunity to see some old movies on there. Like, over the past couple of months, they've played stuff like the original Star Wars and Jurassic Park and countless others. I didn't get a chance to see any of those. So when the opportunity... And the only kind of old movie that I got a chance to see in theaters recently was a choice of my girlfriend's, The Santa Claus. So when the opportunity presented itself that I could go see the original Alien, I immediately jumped on it. I was like, no way in hell I'm missing this. I love that film. So I went with that. And the other movie was The Emperor's New Groove, which oh god, I'm kind of circling around in circles here. Sorry. But it's nice to be able to go to the cinema and actually see stuff. I know theaters are kind of on life support these days, and I don't know if they'll ever fully come back, especially with these kind of weird VOD programs that have been kind of like going along in movies lately. But I hope they come back better than ever, because going to the cinema is an important thing as far as I'm concerned. It is... I'm going to sound very silly by saying this, but it is my personal church. It is the place I like to go to where I can escape from the real world, where I can sit down and see something truly transporting and fantastical and nothing I've ever seen before. It's a great thing. And one of the films that I had seen, The Emperor's New Groove, I've never seen this one. I know it's like one of those films that has been mercilessly memed to death for many years of people around my age. It's kind of considered an animated classic. You got David Spade as this Aztec emperor who's just a complete narcissistic, egotistical little shit. And one of his, you know, cohorts ends up poisoning him, gets turned to a llama, yada yada yada. This is the first time I've ever seen it. I only saw, like, I remember being really little, seeing trailers for it, and as I got older, like, I was just kind of like, I really didn't have much of a desire to see it, because I almost kind of felt like they showed all the funniest bits in the trailers. Which they did, but as I was watching it, I don't know if it was just the fact that I was buzzed while I was watching it, or if it was sincere, but I could not stop laughing at this goddamn movie. My god. I always heard stories about how people saying that this is one of the most unique Disney movies, this is one of the funniest, this is one of the best, yada yada yada. It's kind of fucking true. I could not stop laughing throughout this goddamn movie. Like, there's two different storylines going on in it. You got David Spade's, you know, Emperor guy, goes through character arc with the help of this guy, played by, you know, voiced by John Goodman, yada yada, typical Disney stuff. And then you got the B storyline of the villains pursuing this whole situation, voiced by Yazama, the person who poisoned the Emperor. Voiced by Eartha Kitt, and her bubbling sidekick Kronk, played by Patrick Warburton. And Eartha Kitt's Yazama, and just like their back and forth together, is so unbelievably hysterical. I was just kind of like watching this, you know, like the stuff that goes on in the other section of the movie is genuinely funny and entertaining, heartwarming, but this is where the real comedy is. All the stuff involving those two, if I were to have tears coming down in my eyes, I probably would have in terms of how much I was laughing. I didn't, but it would have been possible. And Barbara was just sitting right next to me, and I was just like, and she wasn't making much noise, but I could tell she was smiling a lot. She'd seen the film before, and when I told her, nope, I've never seen that, she immediately, you've never seen The Emperor's New Groove? And I was like, yep, never saw it. So, you know, what a perfect movie to see on the, like what a perfect introduction, seeing it on the big screen, which it did actually look pretty good. I don't know if they used an actual DCP or if they just used a DVD or a Blu-ray or something, but it certainly looked nice. And it sounded great. The screening we went to was a little limited. Like, there wasn't that many people in it. Then again, it was a Monday night, so it comes with the territory. Still, I had a great time watching this. It's a really, really funny movie. It's certainly the kind of movie I wouldn't be opposed to ever watching again if it was on TV or something. Hell, my mom, who's kind of stingy in regards to animated movies, she appreciates animation, but it can be kind of hard to try and convince her to sit down and watch an animated movie. I think she would even get a kick out of this. And I can even see how, like, you know, chicken and egg situation here. Either somebody on the production team really liked the Deadpool comics, or, you know, somebody who, you know, when they were making the Deadpool movies, they took a page out of this, because it's like, these, you know, they kind of share that same sort of, you know, like, rapid-fire comedy kind of thing, and very meta and self-aware. Also a little bit of Abrams and Zucker kind of thing going on, which I enjoy that kind of humor. Like, you can put on the Naked Gun movies, and I will literally stop, like, I will enter this state where I laugh so much that I can't laugh anymore. Naked Gun, Hot Shots, all that stuff, that stuff's brilliant, and Emperor's New Groove definitely fits into the category. Speaking of the production, I actually, like, I always kind of knew about this, but I looked up some extra notes about the production of this film and how much it was just a kind of an infamous disaster behind the scenes, where it's like the original director was the guy who did The Lion King, but he, you know, it's like, and he came up with this, like, really dramatic, sweeping epic that they completely scrapped. And there's, like, this bootleg documentary that exists of it that kind of shows the production, and apparently, like, that documentary only scratches the surface of what a complete goddamn headache it was. Like, it does not show the Disney company in a positive light at all, which, you know, I'm sure they wouldn't enjoy that. I would like to take a look at that documentary sometime, because even just kind of reading the base notes of what happened, it's like, holy shit, there's actual footage that exists of what a nightmare this was to make. Wow. I don't know if, like, Disney will ever make an animated movie like this again, especially how they seem to be more concerned in just, like, you know, like, endlessly regurgitating their franchise crap for Disney Plus, say for the occasional actual original work from, like, Pixar or something. But you know, or especially something that's in 2D, but I would like for Disney to maybe try and do something that relentlessly takes the piss out of themselves, because they deserve it, especially kind of considering, like, just like how much that company's completely full of itself these days. I mean, watching that Disney investors call was just like a artistic nightmare to me, as far as I'm concerned. I was just watching that, like some of what I saw, I was just like in horror, like, oh god, like, how the hell can you make me not excited for, like, fucking comic book movies and Star Wars, you evil bastards? Ugh, screw you, Bob Iger. Anyway, speaking of Disney, the other thing that I got to see was the original Alien on the big screen, directed by Ridley Scott. You know the whole cast: Sigourney Weaver, John Hurt, Tom Skerritt, Ian Holm, Yaphet Kotto, Veronica Cartwright, Henry Dean Stanton. And the original Alien is a movie, well, not just the original Alien, more like the entire franchise itself. The entire Alien franchise is my thing. It is a series that I can say without a doubt is my Star Wars. I love Star Wars, but if someone were to sit me down and ask me, Star Wars or Alien, I may like more movies in the Star Wars franchise, but give me Alien any day of the week, because I think Alien always has had this really distinct visual style to it, an exceedingly memorable creature design, really weird, grotesque Freudian imagery, one of the goddamn gold standards for, it's like, it's not only the movie that set the standard for feminine action heroes, it's also the one that is still a high bar to set up to. There are so many great things I can say about the original Alien. I've seen the film plenty of times on home video, and seeing this on a big screen, I have to admit, it kind of felt like I was having a fucking religious experience seeing this on a massive screen. Sitting down, watching it on a big screen, ironically enough, it was actually in the same room where just a few weeks later I saw Emperor's New Groove in. What a coincidence. Seeing it there, just like, I was just like, I couldn't get out of my seat. I was like, I'd seen the film a great deal of times before. I've missed parts of it, but got right back into it. Here, no, I couldn't look away watching this on a massive screen. It was gorgeous. The print that they brought in, I don't know if it was, like Emperor's New Groove, I don't know if they brought in DCP, or if it was on a Blu-ray or something, but I think it was actually on the DCP, because it's like the times I've seen it on DVD. I own the old 2003 Alien Quadrilogy box set. Like, it always looks good to me on that DVD, but just like seeing it on a big screen, I felt like I was seeing the film for the first time. It was mesmerizing. Just the clarity and the detail, and the shadows and the sounds, like, all of it just felt so overwhelming. Ridley Scott is my all-time favorite director. I've watched a great deal of films by his. I haven't seen his complete filmography, but out of the 25 films he's directed, not including his work on short films and commercials, I've seen I've seen 19 out of 25 of his films. And many people consider to be either Alien or Blade Runner is his best work. I don't. I have a slightly different opinion where I think Kingdom of Heaven is his best work, but Alien is my number 2. And seeing it on a big screen just kind of confirms that this is one of the greatest films ever made. It's scary, it's relentless, it looks incredible, it sounds fantastic. Every performance is so believable and rich. The characterization is tight. The pacing is like, it's slow, but it's patient, and it really just kind of reels you in until eventually, it's also interesting how the violence in the Alien films, like, kind of steadily ramped up as each installment kind of went by, because, excluding the AVP movies, which I'll touch on in a little bit, the original Alien doesn't actually have much in the way of gore in it. Oh, there's definitely graphic scenes of violence, like the infamous chestburster sequence, but it's like, you really don't see the deaths of the other characters on screen. It's like they're always kind of obfuscated. Like what happens to Dallas when he's climbing around in the vents, and how the alien just kind of springs out of nowhere. Like, you don't see him afterwards, unless if you watch the director's cut, but director's cut's not worth it. Like, I remember hearing about how Ridley Scott, when he was asked to do a director's cut version, like, he's just like, the director's cut's already out. It's a version that was released to begin with. That was just for marketing purposes. I've seen that director's cut. Like, there's like a extended sequence that kind of shows like a new way of how aliens were made, of how aliens are made, but I'm glad that they changed it to something a little more like, like the way bees do it in Aliens. Thank you, James Cameron. And just even though I was the only person in that room, and there were other people in there, I just kind of sat at the screen just utterly mesmerized. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe I was seeing this classic on a big screen. A friend of mine, he told me, I remember a couple of years back, he got to see 2001. And, he was able to brag about that. So for me being able to brag it to him, well, I got to see Alien on a big screen, bitch. To me, I consider that even. You know who you are, my good friend. Thinking about it, I've seen quite a bit of the Alien films on screen. The first one I ever saw was actually Alien versus Predator, the one by Paul W.S. Anderson. That's an okay movie. I don't know if I'd like it more if I were to watch it these days, but it's like, I remember loving it as a kid, but, kind of looking back on it, it's kind of cheesy, but whatever. It's fine. It's okay. Then I saw Prometheus opening weekend. We almost missed the film because the directions we were going in got all screwy and shit, so but we made it there. I brought along a friend of mine as like a kind of like, celebration for graduating high school kind of thing. And my mom, we all saw Prometheus on a big screen. Fantastic, awesome movie. One of the better installments in the franchise. And then years later, I got to see Covenant with my mom, and Covenant was a fascinating movie. I couldn't call it great, but I certainly wasn't bored by it, and it gave me something to chew on. And now I've seen the original Alien. All I need to do is just see Aliens 3 and Resurrection. I'm fine without seeing AVPR, because that movie's a piece of shit, but I'm fine with, like if I can see the other three, I'd probably be a happy man. And this also kind of ties into, Ridley Scott. The films I've seen of his, the first one I ever saw of his in a theater, I've seen the following: Prometheus, The Martian, Alien Covenant, All the Money in the World, and now I can say Alien. And his films are a treat to me. I know he's not exactly the most consistent director. He hasn't made the best, it's like sometimes he will make complete misfires, and I won't deny it. But he has a distinct quality and style and vibe about his films that make him stand out more than any other commercial director in Hollywood. Like, he's the kind of guy who can balance, this is something I gotta do for the studio, but I'm gonna make it my own goddamn thing, damn it. And I love that about him. And he really does kind of go for, films that target specifically adult audiences. I'm looking forward to his next couple of projects. I know he wrapped up doing the television series Raised by Wolves. There's another season in production. I'd like to watch that sometime, because from what I understand, Raised by Wolves is completely goddamn insane. And he's got 3 other movies down in the pipeline right now. He has the following: The Last Duel, a film about Gucci, and a film about Napoleon called Kit Bag. That's going to have Joaquin Phoenix in it. I know I'll gladly go see the other two, but the third one's being put up by Apple TV, and that kind of pisses me off. Fucking streaming services. Still, I always look forward to whatever the man works. And, he's 83 right now. That old fucking fart. I'm always going to look forward to whatever the hell he does next, even if his last couple of movies burn me. I know I kind of experienced a bit of that when I saw, when after he did Prometheus, he did stuff like The Counselor and Exodus, which I didn't like those movies very much. But then he did The Martian, and I was like, hell yeah! And then he did Covenant. I was like, that was pretty good. All the Money in the World. I was like, fuck yeah! So, I'm always looking forward to whatever the hell he does next. Anyway, those are my experiences of seeing 2 old movies in a theater. I don't know if I'm going to be seeing any more in a theater. What I try to go for whenever I go to see a movie in a theater, I have a rule. Either the film has to be something I haven't seen before, or it's something I have seen before, but not in a theater, because rarely do I go see the same movie twice in the theater. The last time I did that was when I saw Phantom Thread. I saw that twice in the theater. Lovely, lovely movie. That was worth seeing twice again. I could probably count on like 1 or 2 hands the amount of movies I've seen in the theater twice. Stuff like Lord of the Rings 2 Towers, Harry Potter and Prisoner of Azkaban, Finding Nemo, Spectre, Mad Max Fury Road, the aforementioned, Phantom Thread, Arrival, there's probably more that come to mind, but as I said, it's not much. But still, I really hope theaters don't go away, because I love seeing films on a big screen. I really, really do. It's a lovely, beautiful, wonderful experience. It's overwhelming. It can be overwhelming. And it's just something I don't want to go away. Even as things, you know, we have all these streaming services and video on demand services, all of that shit's great. It really is. I like being able to see films conveniently. Just the other day I saw Mads Mikkelsen in Another Round, which was a total delight. I should probably do a video on that movie. I would have probably enjoyed it even more seeing it in a theater, because I like not being interrupted. I like being in a room that forces you to sit down and watch something, not be distracted by anything in the outside world. That's great. I could probably go on all day and night about why I love going to the theater, but that'd probably chew up my hard drive on this damn phone. Well, anyway, I hope all of you have a good evening, and stay safe.